Here's what you'll need to cover a paperback book with a self-adhesive poly cover: a pencil, scissors, a ruler, and a self-adhesive poly cover. They come in various sizes. They have a shiny side, and the reverse is a very matte side with a tear-off adhesive backing and a strip down the center where the spine will attach. So you'll want to match your book with the various sizes to find the one that fits best. The cover will need to be as tall as the book or taller, and it's going to need to be as wide as the total of the book cover, back, and spine. You'll want that overhang there, and you can flip the book over to make sure that it's going to fit with this poly cover. Once you have the right size, you want to set the book on top and bring it all the way to an outside edge and corner and match it up so that those two sides are perfectly aligned. And then you're going to use a pencil to trace a line along that matte side of the poly cover to mark where you're going to trim with the scissors so that it fits the book precisely. You can move the book along the poly cover as a guide for tracing, or you can just make a few marks and use a ruler and do it that way, whatever works best for you. But you want to make sure that the line is nice and straight all the way along and perfectly parallel with the side. Next, you're going to use your scissors to trim away that excess cover. Once we've trimmed away the excess cover, we're going to adhere the book. You'll want to make sure that you use extra care when you do this to avoid air bubbles underneath the cover. So first, we're going to remove that center spine strip from the matte side. Next, you're going to take your book and lie it flat, and this time you want to match the spine edge right exactly up against the adhesive backing on the poly cover. Make sure both top and bottom of the book sides are aligned perfectly with your poly cover. Press it down and then gently just sort of roll the spine onto the adhesive. Press down to make sure it sticks, and then you can just sort of fold it over and keep pressing down to be sure you don't have any air bubbles. And then you can start by folding back the backing on one side. Press along that spine edge to make sure that you've got a good start on that side. And then you can use either a firm ruler or a book covering tool or squeegee to push and sort of move that backing along. You do not want to remove the backing entirely all at once. You want to guide it off carefully like this to make sure that you don't get all sorts of air bubbles in there. So just keep pressing firmly as you go until you reach the edge of the book and can pull off the last of the backing. You may have excess poly coming off the edge of the book. You may either trim that with an X-Acto knife, or you can just fold it over and press it down carefully with a ruler so you have a nice sharp edge. Now you're going to do the other side of the book. So we're just going to repeat the same steps. Make sure that you've pressed down the edge of the spine to get a good start. Start folding back that backing. And again, use your ruler or other tool to just guide that poly adhesive right onto the surface of the book cover. Once you've worked it all the way to the edge for the second side, you're going to repeat the same steps to either trim away the excess poly cover or fold it over and press it down using a ruler or a book covering tool. Once we've finished this portion, we're going to just take a look at the book and make sure that you don't have excess poly cover hanging off either the top or bottom edges. If you do, you can use an X-Acto knife to trim away that little tiny bit of excess. And now you've got a covered paperback.